So, for those of us who do not know who are you and what do you do?
My name's Anthony Tabone. I'm the front man to East of Anthony. What do I do? I teach music. I play music. I do art. I'm an artist, and I teach art too from time to time. Um, it's really that side has really taken off lately. That's kind of my um, kind of what I do. Yeah, who I am. Lots of long hours of doing that kind of stuff.
Where are you from?
I am originally from Tupelo, Mississippi. Most people know that as Elvis's birthplace. So that's always cool to hang your hat on. That you grew up in a very musically notable place, and it was back and forth to Memphis too. So it's kind of both of those were kind of stomping grounds for me, Memphis and Tupelo. But grew up in Tupelo. That was my hometown.
Tell us about your childhood growing up.
It was early on. My parents tell me I was really young, like 3 or 4, and I would um, play stuff on the piano. I could hear. So at an early age, I could hear. I don't have perfect pitch, but I don't have relative pitch. I have some pretty good. I can hear when something's out of tune, just the slightest. So that was my first um, times being introduced to music. I took piano lessons for a few years. We moved to Tupelo. So I was born in Grenada, Mississippi, not far from Jackson. But it was in Tupelo when I was about 16, I believe. I bought my first guitar, 16, 17. Um, Taught myself for the most part. And, I played as a teenager. I learned to my early 20s. And then I had kids. And so, I put it on the back burner for them, um, and raised my kids. Some great kids who are all musically inclined, uh, stupid talented compared to me. I taught them what I knew, and they took and ran with it. Um, so that was kind of my growing up. I was always around music. My father-in-law, he was always into music. He had friends that played music, and so I had friends that played music. So we were always playing. It wasn't until COVID that I had always had like riffs and some chord progressions that sounded pretty good over the years, but it wasn't until COVID that you're kind of twiddling your thumbs, going, "What am I gonna do while I'm on lockdown?" And I think a lot of us as musicians probably did that. We started writing. We started putting pen to paper, and I wrote a couple songs that I thought were pretty catchy. And next thing I know, I went through just a creative spurt run. And next thing I know, I've got enough songs for an album, I think, Produced it myself. You can tell I produced it myself because I was learning the production side of things. I still am. I'm going back and remastering that first album actually now that I kind of know what I'm doing. But yeah, I had enough material. I put out my first solo. I was solo at that point. Who knew? But Remember Me, that you just listened to, that's you could tell it was or it was my probably best song, and till this day it gets the most streams. It's what at the end of a show we typically will end it with that, or our song "Who Knew" off the self-titled album, and um, people, you can tell people like that song. So we play it as much as we can. Our second album came out last year. That was um, Nemesis, more on the heavier side. Um, and so to get back into that, influentially, is that a word? I was most influenced by grunge, alternative. Growing up in the '90s, early 2000s, it was more of the progressive rock that started, even punk rock that started influencing me. And then come mid 2000s, I kind of went to a folk phase. Um, Thanks to Eddie Vedder, I think, if I can say his name. um, so yeah, I heard some stuff Eddie Vedder did solo, very folk, very folk vibe, and so that's kind of what you get now with us. You'll get a heavier side of um, grunge alternative, and then you'll get a lighter folk acoustic, still alternative kind of a acoustic vibe from us. And when you see our main logo, the two tigers, you kind of have a roaring tiger and then the calm tiger, and that's what that means. You kind of get two of the best of both worlds with us. And I hope I highlighted that here with 3 songs.
Tell us about the first time you performed in front of an audience.
So the first time, this is why I tell my students that I teach who want to do this, I tell them to do open mics first. Get the bugs out of the way before you think you're stage ready. Play before family, but also play before people who will be honest with you. So you can work those bugs out and get good. You can hone your craft, and you don't get a lot of that of boys, and you want to hear the truth. So my first was brutal. I think it was anyway. There might have been some high points, but I needed that first little gig a few years ago. I've always, I say always, I've gotten in front of a lot of people over the years and given talks, but as far as music goes, it's a whole nother ball game. Remembering lyrics and your music and stage presence and everything that goes involved, and so I had to kind of acclimate myself to that really fast. But so you need those fails. You need the fails so you can, which is kind of cliche, but you do need to fall down so you can get back up and go. Okay, now I know what I need to do. And but yeah, 3 years ago, it was, oh my gosh, I got to fix this. Fix it fast. No one's. You can have good music, but no one's gonna want to hear it. So yeah, my first was interesting, and my friends and family, bless their hearts, they were so supportive, and you need that. You need support as you work those bugs out. And so if I say anything to those who are supporting someone who wants to do this, is support them, give them constructive criticism, but support them because it is a learning process all the way. Yep.
When you first started to create music on your own, write and create music, did you set out with the goal of being the best, fame, fortune, and all of that? So what was your direct? What did you see yourself?
Honestly,
Where
it
did you see
started.
yourself going?
Sorry. It started with my art. So I have an Instagram account, Scratch Art by Tony. Plug. No, I needed background music, and this is kind of when it all kind of started happening. And I was getting copyrighted on just little stuff, background stuff I had. I'm like, I gotta quit this. So I um, just wanted something, just something in the background, while I was doing my artwork, just like that. Um, I think one of the first songs, yeah, was Crooked Creek on our first album, and it was something calm, just like a. I was just goofing around, doing some background music. It was that song that I was like, had a bluesy tone to it. Like I was like, that might be a song. I put it on the shelf. It was a few months later that I kind of messed with it again and put lyrics to it. And I was like, I think I put lyrics to this. That's what really started the ball rolling, was that song. But it was me needing the background music for my art. And it's stuff like that just kind of triggers um, you going, uh, I think I could do this. I bet I could do this. And so that's where it kind of all took off. So
Where did you go from that point? Did you go out and try to pursue a solo career, and what obstacles did you face trying to do that?
Um, so I grew up, like I said, grew up around music. I had some very influential people too, that were in the music business growing up that I would go see play in Memphis. I failed to mention that earlier. Amazing couple. They're still doing it to this day. They play with some greats: Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin. I'm name dropping. Yeah. Um, so they did this, and I would grow up, thinking, that'd be cool to do that. And so when I, a few years ago started doing this, I you get that itch where you've got a couple songs written and you think they're all right, they're pretty good. I hope other people like them, but you don't know until you put it out there. But yeah, I kind of just had the idea that I would like to do this on the side. It'd be fun. It's therapy for me, honestly. Playing, sharing my music, and I try to write upbuilding stuff like remember me. Just moving lyrics, lyrics that speak to you. Um, Type of music I like. Usually, in some way, it speaks to me, and so that's what I try to do. And in in that moment when I wrote a few songs, I was thinking, yeah, I'd like to do this, but still, it's like, well, what do I do? How do you start? I don't know where to start. And so you start researching, what you need to do. There's a lot involved. And so, but you do have to kind of jump in and just do it. And obstacles, a lot of it's just us getting out of our own way. I know with me, it was, um, uh, I'm very introverted sometimes, and you have to be an extrovert. You have to put yourself out there. You have to sell your art, your music, whatever it is. You have to sell it. And for me, it was when my first gig was, I was just very subdued, and I had to like break out of my shell. And I tell my students, I've got some who are so talented, and a lot of it's just that is getting over ourselves, breaking out of that shell because we love what we're creating, and you want other people to love it too. And so to me, that's some of the biggest obstacles is getting past ourselves. And then I'd say one of the other biggest ones is just impatience of other people, because it's a now world we live in. I need it now, and so you have it's a growing process. This doesn't happen overnight, and so just getting people to be patient till you get to that point. And the ones that your true supporters they'll wait. If they see it, they're like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm gonna wait because one day, that's catchy. You're not there yet, kid, but keep it up. And there's I've had several people in my corner who I'm glad they've stuck around because that's what you need. People who are gonna, you're not there, but you're getting there. Because one day you will be when you put the work into it. You will be.
You mentioned that you create music mainly for therapy. Um, so, is there anything that happened in your life that that was significant and you put in your music? Is there anything that you can tell us? Any stories you can tell us about that?
We would need a few hours, man. No, definitely the loss of friends, the loss of death. Affects us all. And so yeah, I've got a few songs. One of the newest songs actually should drop Friday. I hope is a new song called Bird Song. I will be. You can find it on some of our social media now. Glimpses of it, tastes of it. Actually, the whole song I've kind of put out there, but it's kind of a sequel to Remember Me, and it's about the loss of a friend. So I've lost some very very close people to me over the years. That definitely has influenced my writing. Had some other things, big life events I won't go into. People close to me know, you know, that has affected me, and it. I don't care who you are. If you write music, it seeps into your music. That's, we we empty ourselves. If you're in this craft, you get it. You know what I'm saying right now. You pour yourself into it when it comes to stuff like that. You can't help it. Emotions, that's what music's about. Stirs the emotions, and you want it to, whether it's happy or sad. And so, yeah, I've had a couple life events that definitely influence. So that's where I have to watch myself, that, I'm not always, because Crooked Creek's about, that song's about, some very serious, things. And it picks up. If you've heard the song, it picks up. It's a crowd favorite when we play it live. We kind of go into a break. It kind of gets upbeat, but if I'm not careful, I'll fall into these grooves where you don't want to depress people all the time. So I know more than ever now. I try to write more upbeat stuff, but I still, again, I try to write things that are going to move people to action. I've got some songs coming up that I wrote. Again, will be on a new EP coming out soon. It's ready. I think it's pretty ready. Um, that will, hopefully, those songs, they kind of move you. That's the goal anyway, is to stir emotions, but in a good way. One song we're working on is called Free. If you've heard us live, we played it live a few times, and I think I've played it a couple times on social media. But there's a lot of people who are looking for freedom right now, and that's what that song, kind of touches on, is being free, from problems and anxieties and stuff that so many of us are going through right now. Hope to put that one out soon. So I almost performed it today, but maybe a later date. But yeah, I definitely, if I remember your question right, yeah, I try to, um, yes, use life events um, in my writing, but at the same time, you got to be balanced about how you do that. Yep.
Tell us about your why. Why do you do this still?
Why? So, touched on it earlier, it's a therapy to me. Um, I enjoy teaching music, just passing it on. Art, whether it's art, I'm happy to do it for free, just to pass on, because it's enjoyable to give that to others. But yeah, it's therapeutic for me. But at the same time, again, sharing something you love with somebody else that's helped you, right? And when you see it help somebody else, it helps you even more, right? Um, there's more happiness in giving than in receiving. Someone said that. Famous person back in history. Um, and it's true. When you give, you always get back. I don't care who you are, if you will give. And so I think um, the biggest thing lately that I've gotten is just helping others with when it comes to music too. Just if I can help, I'll help. If I can, I can't. But um, yeah, it's very therapeutic. And then just sharing music, especially when you're able to share a song and it moves people. I've had a few comments lately where it's like, thanks, and it's just been a few comments here and there, but it's like, that's a good song. That I can't wait to hear it when it comes out. People I don't know, you know, usually it's family. That's so good, Tony. No. So when you have complete strangers going, I needed that, you know, on YouTube, random comment, just, dude, I needed this. So that's when you feel like, okay, it's all worthwhile um, validation, for what you're doing. Hard work you put in, because let me tell you, a lot of hard work. If you want this, you have to put in the work and time. And so when you do, and you start seeing results, it's very, you get a kind of sense of, that's cool. You help somebody.
What advice would you give up and coming musicians?
Be patient. Yeah, just lots of patience with yourself, with others. You're going to get a lot of hate. Maybe not a lot, but you'll get some hate and you'll get some love. And I don't care what band you are, whether you're a big band or a small artist, you're going to have people that I can't stand that band. And guess what? They're laughing it to the bank with the other million or so followers that love them. And those are the people you're looking for that appreciate your music. So you have to be patient for that. You have to work for it, wait for that to happen. Um, and then the other thing is just being patient with yourself. Let yourself grow. Um, Sometimes you think you know who you are musically, and then after a few years, you kind of go, I'm kind of this too, you know. And so be willing to grow too. But in a nutshell, being patient. Just kind of waiting for things to grow and happen, whether it be on the outside or be you. Yeah.
If people wanted to follow you or get in contact with you, how would they?
We are on Facebook. So it says Anthony Tabone, but if there's a lot of um, Anthony Tabones out there, so you'll look for Anthony Tabone east of Anthony, and you'll see the big tiger, the two tigers, and that's on our Spotify too. You'll see that image come up. We're on YouTube, at East of Anthony on YouTube, at East of Anthony on Instagram, at East of Anthony on TikTok. Those are the big ones, I think. And we're on all streaming platforms. You can find all our music on just about everything. Yep.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, man, for having me. You're awesome.
Thank you.